Fear. It's what horror feeds from. A key part of what makes horror what it is, making us jump, scream, or feel uncomfortable with what we see and hear. But sometimes, fear isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, hiding in grief and guilt, and things left unsaid. Something Japan understands better than most. The psychology involved, the culture shaped by centuries of belief, the history scarred by tragedy. Every part of Japan's identity bleeds into its horror. But why do they know how to do so? To really understand why, you have to look deeper, beyond the movies themselves. It starts with belief, the way an entire culture sees life, death, and everything in between. In the culture of Japan, Shinto, the country's native belief system, is rooted in nature and spirits called kami, a belief that spirits exist in everything, the wind, the water, even forgotten places. When something disrupts that natural balance, death, a curse, deep resentment, the world becomes impure. It isn't a monster, but a spirit that can't rest. Now, in a way, Buddhism adds another layer to this, shaping how Japan views life and death. The idea that life and death are part of a cycle of suffering and rebirth. A spirit that can't let go isn't evil, it's trapped. Japanese horror explores this through many films. From those beliefs came stories, legends that pass down from generation to generation. Tales of yokai, strange creatures that live between the natural and the supernatural, and of onryo, vengeful spirits, often women, driven by rage or sorrow so powerful it defies death. These stories weren't just to scare. In a way, they were warnings, lessons about emotion, morality, and balance, passed down through kaidan, traditional ghost tales, and later through theater and film. Even today, echoes of these spirits still linger, shaping the fear that defines Japanese horror. But Japan's horror doesn't only come from myth. Its past is marked by war, disaster, and isolation. Centuries of rebuilding from ruin have left an unspoken memory. Abandoned towns, silent streets, fading traditions. They aren't just settings for horror. They are symbols of a nation's relationship with tragedy. In Japanese horror, the fear isn't just of ghosts, it's being forgotten. All of this, the spirituality, the folklore, the history, it all forms a unique kind of fear. One that doesn't scream, but lingers. Japanese horror isn't about defeating the monster. It's about confronting what you've buried, the emotions, regrets, and memories that refuse to die. Because sometimes, the scariest thing isn't what haunts you, it's what won't leave you alone. Like everything else, those beliefs evolved over time. The ideas that shaped horror grew with the world around them, adapting alongside technology, cities, and modern life. But they never lost their roots, their connection to the unseen, the emotional, the unresolved. In the modern world, connection is everywhere, but so is isolation. In Ringu, fear spreads through a videotape, personal and inescapable. In Cairo, it spreads through the internet itself, a network of loneliness and ghosts. One story follows a vengeful spirit, hunting anyone down who dares to watch the tape. The other shows a group of spirits targeting a collection of young adults, amplifying their isolation and fear. Modern settings, apartments, schools, office buildings are empty, yet full of tension, reflecting the real loneliness of urban life. Horror films tap into that emptiness, blending technology with the spiritual to amplify dread. The creators of these films blended modern life with ancient beliefs, producing media that has influenced filmmakers worldwide. Some Japanese horror films, both popular and lesser known, end without answers. No clear explanation of what happens or why. Sometimes it's to set up a sequel or expand the story, but other times it's deliberate. When a climax leaves you with more questions than closure, it's intention. It plays on our need for answers, for comfort, and when that comfort never comes, the fear lingers. This ambiguity is a part of a wider aesthetic in Japanese storytelling called ma, the space between, the silence, the pause. Japanese horror invites the viewer to imagine the worst, making the unseen infinitely scarier than anything shown. It's subtle, slow building, and emotionally resonant. Fear that doesn't end with the credits. At the end of Japanese horror is emotion, not jump scares or monsters, but feelings that never fade. Guilt, regret, loneliness, the fear of being forgotten. In a society that values calm, composure, and restraint, these emotions often remain buried. They don't disappear. They sink deeper. Horror becomes a way to confront them, to give them form. The ghost isn't always evil. Sometimes it's trapped, restless, or acting on unresolved events. Stories give voice to what cannot be expressed in life, echoing long after death. It's in this unresolved tension and the lingering dread that the emotion resonates most deeply. All these modern horrors, technology, ambiguity, emotion, they are the evolution of centuries of belief, folklore, and cultural memory. What we see in modern Japanese horror is the continuation of old fears, updated for new times, but still rooted in the human heart. A fear that doesn't just startle, it lingers, reflects, and stays with you long after the story ends. Japanese horror isn't just about what scares us, it's about what stays. Every ghost, every curse, every silence reflects something deeply human. They aren't just stories of death, a reminder that even when something fades, it never truly disappears. In Japan, horror has always been a mirror. It reflects how people cope with loss, loneliness, and the weight of things left unsaid. When a spirit returns, it's not always for revenge. Sometimes it's for recognition. That's what makes Japanese horror timeless. It doesn't rely on spectacle or shock. It lingers in quiet moments and what's unseen. Because the real horror isn't the ghost outside your door. It's the emotions you've locked away and never faced. Modern Japanese filmmakers carry that same tradition forward, using sound, silence, and stillness to turn the viewer inward. Every whisper, every shadow, every unanswered question forces you to sit with discomfort. Realize that sometimes fear isn't there to torment you. It's there to remind you you're still alive. From ancient folklore to internet ghosts, Japanese horror has always evolved, but its heart has never changed. It's still about the things we carry, the grief, the guilt, the memories that refuse to stay buried. Maybe that's why, even after the credits roll, we still feel it, as the story isn't over. It's just waiting for us to look back. If you enjoyed this video, the way horror connects to culture, emotion, and history in Japanese horror, make sure to like the video, subscribe, share your thoughts below. What moment in a horror film has ever stayed with you long after it ended?